news coming in from down south. Tamil Nadu government has introduced a bill in the assembly that would clip the state governor's powers to appoint vice-chancellors to universities. Chief Minister Stalin argued that the lack of power to state government to appoint vice-chancellors hurts higher education. Now, Sam Daniel is joining us live to get us more updates here. Sam, help us understand on how clipping the state governor's power and transferring that power to the state government going to help the state of education in the state as the Chief Minister is mentioning. And, just take us through the significance of this decision that's been taken today.
Well, this dates back to at least over the last few years in Tamil Nadu, Urvashi. There have been instances where the governor has rejected the search committee's recommendations. And as things stand now, the search committee appointed gives 3 names or recommends 3 names. And the state government does not have any say in choosing who will be the vice-chancellor. Instead, the governor, as chancellor of any university in the state, he decides to pick one of the 3 candidates recommended. And this Chief Minister M.K. Stalin says denies the powers to the state government which administers higher education in the state, and this leads to confusion in the administration of universities. And he also says this is against the philosophy of people's rule in the state. And he also cites the Gujarat model, the state of the Prime Minister, saying that even there the governor gets to appoint who the state government decides among the 3 recommended candidates, and they're also citing states like Telangana having that kind of a model. Interestingly, this comes on a day when the governor is hosting a 2-day conference of vice-chancellors, and many political parties have expressed concern that the governor is trying to run a parallel government, and they had even wanted the vice-chancellors to boycott that. And in fact, the flip side of this is that in the past we have had situations where the vice-chancellors were appointed based on political consideration. There were even corruption allegations saying that whoever had given the highest money gets this particular seat, and that would mean they won't be focused on higher education, improving the quality of education, but to recover the money they had invested. That's the other side. Even as the Tamil Nadu Assembly discusses, any moment this could be actually adopted. The opposition AIADMK and the BJP have opposed it at the very introductory stage. The AIADMK is saying that although in some states there is a situation where the state government gets to choose who will be the vice-chancellor of universities, there has been no formal adoption in this way, and they do not want this kind of a thing to be adopted, because AIADMK is also kind of an ally of the BJP. And generally, the perception in Tamil Nadu is that the governor in Tamil Nadu, technically who has been appointed by the BJP government at the center, promotes the cause of the central government and is against the powers of the ruling government in the state. For example, although the state government had recently adopted twice a bill to exempt the state from the mandatory NEET, the medical entrance test for medical admission, the governor has not forwarded that to the president or to the central government, and they say it's because the governor, they allege, is towing the centre's line. In this context, this becomes important. Whether the governor would forward this to the president, that's something we'll have to wait and watch.
All right. Sam Daniel, they're reporting on the story. Thanks, Sam.